This is where you walk on. Like, you just walk. Oh, nope. Okay, we're good. Something fell. Nope, nothing fell. We're good. Good morning, everybody. As you can tell, that's what Sunday feels like. Sunday feels like here. You know, everybody's moving a little bit slower this morning. My shirt? Oh yeah, this is kind of like my Hawaiian vacation shirt. Woo! Everybody's moving really sluggish this morning because Saturday, you know, the MSP ends here at ReaperCon. If you guys watched last night, you watched the ceremony. I think the ceremony overall went really well, really great. And, you know, alternating between AN and DKS, we've learned they know how to pick up the pace because the more entries and stuff we get into the MSP and things like that, it seems like maybe the ceremony kind of goes longer and longer. I think in 2019, we were like, hey, we got to shorten this somehow. We got to figure out how to kind of tighten it up. And so they worked out some things, and it seems to be doing really good. It wasn't too long, I don't think, because it can kind of get monotonous where you're like, this name, you know, just over and over and over and over again. But it really helps when you have the projector and you're seeing the models and things like that. Everybody's really excited to see their stuff up on the screen, and so it's very lovely. It's a good moment. Everybody's taking pictures of when their thing comes up on the screen, and it wasn't too full in here. It felt like a good amount. There were some people kind of scattered around the back. I did hear, I think, maybe one complaint about the sound, but when I walked around back in the back, I didn't really hear. I mean, I could still hear everything. So I'm not sure what it was, but yeah, there was a little bit of a different configuration this year. Yeah, it was shorter than last year, but it's funny, Airways, is because we had more entries than last year. We had oh gosh, they said the totals last night, but I can't remember. Almost 1,100. I think it was a 1,080, 86 or 80, 1,080, which I think beat our previous record by 100. 1086. Thank you, Airways. Yeah, 1086, which beat our record by about 100, which is pretty crazy because honestly, Reaper, we've been talking about, you know, ReaperCon leading up to it and everything like that. And we were thinking that attendance was going to be slightly lower than like 1,000 maybe people. But I found out yesterday that attendance is actually like 1,250, closer to 1,300, which is much better than what we expected this year, which is really good. It's only a few hundred less than last year. And we did feel like this year was going to be a little bit smaller. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on in this year and things like that. So, which was really good, but it turned out great, attendance wise. Yeah, everybody's starting to come in. The doors just opened probably about a couple minutes before we went live. So now everybody's starting to file in. Everybody's still out there eating breakfast. I needed to get breakfast, but I was running late because I woke up late because I was a dummy and stayed up really late last night. It wasn't, I saw somebody say, you guys stay up partying. It wasn't so much partying. It was just like, just hanging out, you know. There was, Frank was running a D&D game underneath the table. There was a bunch of people at the bar, you know, that have met last year. I was talking to them. There's like a group of Canadians, a group of West Texan people, people from Georgia that they were just hanging out in the lobby. And I saw them there last night too, or the previous night. So I was talking to them for a little while. Some of the artists were up there by the bar and in the lobby. So it was good. Oh, sorry. That's me. The Gummy Bear Award, yes. They took pictures, and they should be sending me the pictures of all the gummy bears. I asked if they took pictures of all of them. Let me see if I can remember. The first place was, I can't remember her name, but she did a little skeleton gummy bear. And then second place was an owl gummy bear. So it was an owl bear painted as a gummy bear. And then third place, I don't remember what it was. But I will have pictures of those. I didn't have the ability to do. Plus, I didn't want to. That was their thing that they organized and everything like that, which they had record number of attendees. This was really the first year that they announced the Gummy Bear Awards, Gummy Bear Painting Contest, and it's a really fun thing to do right after the MSP. You know, everybody's on pins and needles waiting to find out what awards they got and what color medal they got and things like that. And you know, it's just a fun little thing to do out in the main lobby once the MSP ceremony ends. So that's very fun. Let me look at my notes. I took a little bit of notes before the show. I didn't post this yet, but the faction points this year for yesterday, the totals. So Creed and Rael both got 500 points yesterday. Emerald, the orc that has been leading. Sorry, wow, you got really close up right on my yawn. Perfect timing. So Emerald, the orc, the half-orc rogue, took an early lead the first couple of days. And then, obviously, yesterday was her lowest point day for the whole weekend. Hollis, the halfling rogue with Verbena, got 439 points, slightly less than Emerald. But Rael and Creed, the bard and the barbarian, both got max points yesterday, 500 points. Which brings the totals, which is really crazy because Emerald and Rael, which are the half-orc rogue and the half-elf bard, their totals are 1,133 and then 1,134. So Rael is ahead by 1 point at the moment, which is going to be very interesting today. So we'll see how many points they're able to get today to see who can finish off on top. I think Ron said he was going to announce that at noon, I think, for the con attendees and a news blast and stuff. But, okay, and then, so that's really good. That just means the guy that I was rooting for, Creed Bloodbeard, the barbarian, the Goliath barbarian, is almost at 1,000, so he's not that far behind. It's not really... It's feasible for him to get 100 and something points today, and then maybe take away 100 points for the other ones. You know what I mean? Let's see. We did the rock paper scissors tournament for the first time yesterday. I learned some things to do for next year because I had one table in front of the stage, and I had everybody group around, and we have 3 cards for each player, for each opponent. And they have to, you know, choose their card, rock, paper, scissors, choose their weapon, and then on 3, 1, 2, 3, flip it, and then that's what they chose, and it's best 2 out of 3, and it went really well. But I was going group by group on one table, so it didn't take too long, but you know, there's a lot of people waiting around. So next year, what I'm going to do is have 3 tables set up, and then that way we can have 3 matches going on at the same time. And then as we get into the semifinals and the quarter semis and finals, we'll kind of do those individually on like the middle table or something like that, so everybody can watch. And I think it would be cool to maybe put it on the projectors or something like that. And a lot of people were suggesting like have a pre-sign up for the rock paper scissors tournament so you can make the bracket and things like that, and have a bunch of empty spaces. So if you want, people can come up and like I'm gonna make an announcement to the main hall and everybody here, like, hey, the rock paper scissors tournament is starting. Would you guys like to come up and play? And then we can fill out names and take in last minute people, as well as maybe doing a losers bracket next year, because it was like a single elimination thing this year. So if we do a losers bracket, that way you have an extra chance. Somebody has an extra chance to come back from death. Our champion, I took a picture of her. I didn't actually submit it yet, but her name is Kitara, and she demolished everybody. So it's funny because in the bracket, there was a mom and a daughter that were both playing, And the first round was Kitara and the daughter, and Kitara won. And then Kitara went all the way to the finals. And in the finals, it was the daughter's mom. So the Kitara beat both the mother and the daughter at the beginning and the end of the tournament to become the champion. It was a good storyline, you know. When you have tournaments like that, you need a good storyline to hook you. So that was pretty fun. Hey, Quinny. Good morning. Where are you at? Are you in here? You eating breakfast? You in your room? If you guys didn't know, we had 2 inductees into the Edward Pugh Hall of Fame, MSP Open Hall of Fame last night. One of them was Ed Pugh himself, posthumously from the grave. Ron and everybody thought that it would be fitting to add him to the now renamed after him awards or the Hall of Fame for the MSP. And then the other one was Quindy. Quindy LaRue was added into the Reaper MSP Open Ed Pugh Hall of Fame. I don't know the exact full name yet, but the Hall of Fame, which was pretty cool. She got her, did you get your blue shirt, Quindy? You got your nice little blue Hall of Fame shirt. There's also a ribbon that says Hall of Fame. I don't know if you knew that, but there's a ribbon that's called Hall of Fame. Only 2 people or 1 person would get it the whole con, so I think that's how you get it, I think. It's a good question to ask, but that was cool. That was cool to see. Very happy for Quindy, and I know she was very happy, I think. Sounds like she was crying a little bit when she walked up to the stage, I think. No shame. I cried yesterday too. Let's see. So yesterday, as you guys know, not to be a downer right after an upper, but we had some issues here at the convention. For the first time in 20 years of doing ReaperCon, we had some models that had been snatched by some magpies, some thieves. And so we've been talking about ways to improve things next year and what we're going to have to do as precautions and ideas and things like that. But you can definitely tell this morning that a lot of people packed up their stuff last night in preparation, either in preparation to leave today and just be a little bit tidy, but you know, some of the artists had already picked up all their stuff the last night and things like that. So, but we are talking about things to improve for next year and things like that, because it's very unfortunate. Because the con, I was talking to people last night, the con was going great. You know, day 0, day 1, day 2, day 3, no major issues or anything like that. And then the magpie stuff happened, the thieving of the models, and it really put a coat of a blanket of darkness across everyone. You can definitely tell everybody's super upset, things like as they should be, but it and rightfully so. And it just feels bad. Like Reaper staff feels very bad just because it happened on our watch, and it just, that's not the feeling that this convention is supposed to have. This is supposed to be a family reunion. This is supposed to be a, you know, doing things with each other and things like that. And we've done it 20 years. People feel safe leaving their stuff in the convention hall. People feel safe leaving their stuff out. And then now they probably won't. So, but like I said, it's not the end of all that stuff. It's just gonna have to have little extra barriers and extra rules and things to follow. So, yeah, that's unfortunate, but it feels really bad. But we're gonna end it strong today, I think. We're gonna start packing up at around 2-ish. The auction is at 2, so we'll be filming the auction as well. And I think there's an interview this morning at 11. There should be an interview at 11 with Derek Schubert and Ronald Hawkins, if we can wrangle them up. Probably, I'm assuming they're going to be talking about the MSP. They're probably going to talk about some of the upcoming sculpts that Derek has that's going to be releasing soon. So yeah, that's at 11 today. And then the auctions should start around 2. It might be a few minutes late. You know how Reaper is. But it'll be at 2, and then that will be the last thing that probably happens at the convention. I do want to get Ron and do maybe like a little keynote thing afterwards to kind of send everybody off into the year. I saw people already making signs for 363 days till ReaperCon and things like that. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. So we have the auction at 1. We'll see who wins what. I talked to people last night about some improvements and things of what to do next year and things that they want to come back. So I think we might do the raffles again next year. That was always a really popular thing back in the past. And then we just kind of stopped doing it just because it takes a lot of management and it takes a lot of, you just need to assign someone to do that. So, you know, on Thursday night, we'll probably do a raffle. Friday night, we'll do a raffle. Saturday night, we'll do a raffle. It's just kind of every night or sporadically throughout the con. And you can use your Reaper Bucks to buy raffle tickets and things like that. So that's just an exciting thing to do, I think. And a lot of people really enjoyed it. So we'll probably bring that back next year. I have it in my notes to talk about with the group. So we'll see what happens. I think tabletop events went really well. The system that we used this year for ticketing and badges and all that stuff, there are some things that we, you know, learned, some pain points that we learned throughout the process that we're going to fix for next year. I'm also going to talk to tabletop events themselves to see if they can fix some things for us or for themselves that we noticed seemed to be a little bit wonky and weird, but we'll see how that goes. But I think overall, every time I talk to somebody, they have been saying that it works well. Especially my favorite part is the news blast. So whenever I write up an update like, you know, hey, the food trucks are here, I can blast it out to everybody. And I'm like, hey, is everybody getting those emails? You're getting those emails? So, and everybody seems to be, yeah. For the most part, most people are getting their emails about the updates and things like that. If not, the word kind of spreads, you know. Because they'll be like it just takes one table to get their email and be like, oh, the food trucks are here. And then, you know, now 6 people or 7 people know. That's, I guess, the thinking behind it for me, at least. And buying tickets is good. Buying badges is good. We're going to do merch a little bit different, I think, because the merch things really mess with things a little bit. But overall, great experience. And everybody that I talked to seemed to love it as well. The way that the schedule is laid out, it looks kind of nice. It's just the default search settings need to be changed. I wonder if you can, I don't know if I need to do that, but we're very happy with it, and I think we're going to use that next year. So if you're going to be coming next year, look forward to that. If you go to any other conventions that use tabletop.events, it'll work probably just the same. So I've heard a lot of people that go to other conventions that use it, you know, really love it, and it was really intuitive, and they know how to use it already, so it was good. I think that's the majority of like all the big things that kind of happened yesterday. Rock, paper, scissors, MSP for the first time, and things like that. So I think I'm done. What'd you say? Oh yes, yeah, there are. Let me see if there's any like big classes. A lot of people on Sunday, like I said, Sunday is kind of the chill day. Let me pull up the schedule. Sunday's always been the slow day for Reaper. We wanted to add more stuff on Sunday, but it actually works out great for people because we're on Labor Day weekend, and from what I gather from people, they like to fly home either Sunday afternoon or Sunday night, and then have Monday, since most people have Monday off, to kind of recover and unpack and kind of decompress from all the socialness and all the stress and all the fun and, you know, all the heightened emotions from ReaperCon. And so they take that Monday to either like unpack and clean and sleep and get ready for Tuesday. So that's what I've heard from people, but yeah, Sunday's always been kind of light. I'm pulling up the schedule right now to see if there's anything cool going on today. You need to get Artist Alley pictures. Yes, I did take a few. I haven't posted them. And our photographer yesterday was tasked with doing classes, I think. And I don't know if I haven't looked through the photos. Last night at about 1 in the morning, she came over to me and she said, hey, all the photos are uploaded into the server. And I was like, okay. It's like, I'll get to that tomorrow morning. So they're there. I just haven't done anything with them. Wow, there's a lot of classes on Sunday morning. There's a Lovejoy class. I think these are all starting at 9, I believe. Yep. So there's a Lovejoy class. There's a Coconut class for beginner blending. There's Lickety Split with Tish Walter. Dashes and Dots with Proctor. Wow, there's a lot of prestigious classes. Painting Eyes is Secretly Easy by Davis. Oh wait, Davis. Oh, that's Thursday. Hold on, false alarm. Sunday. Well, I was looking at other classes. So there is an Airbrush 101 class today. That should be pretty exciting. Building better bases and dioramas. There's a lot of cool games too, but painting faces and eyes for miniatures with Lynn Stahl. Hair and makeup for female figures. I think that was a really popular class last year. The hair and makeup for female figures. And how to paint true metallics with Kleiman is also this morning. So those seem like big heavy hitters. And then there's a lot of games. We were talking about this last night as well, is that on Sundays there's a lot of games that happen because the time constraints for a game, you know, they're normally like 4 hours, for instance. So if you start at 9, by the time you end, it's almost auction time. So it kind of leads perfectly into that. Same thing for some of the classes that start at 11. If you take a class at 11, you'll end, you know, at 1 right before the auction, so you can maybe go get some lunch and then come back for the auction. So that seems to be a good leeway. So there's Sunday's really front loaded in the morning that lead up into the auction, and then everybody comes in for the auction. And then that's the end. So what we do here at Reaper is, I think the reason the auction was created is obviously have something for people's Reaper bucks, for them to spend their Reaper bucks on. And also, we use that time while everybody's focused on the stage to clean up around. Like we start tearing down the pipe and drape. We start putting all of our, you know, things on pallets and wheeling them around. And so when you look up and the auction's over, you look around and it's like, oh, like it doesn't look like the same hotel. It doesn't look like the same convention center because all of our banners have been taken down. All of our classroom signs and all the banners out in the main hall, they're kind of all packed up and ready to go. And it's really nice, honestly, because everybody here at Reaper and ReaperCon is so nice and they help us. So they'll see us starting to tear down. So we'll start to tear down the pipe and drape and the posters, and they'll come up to us and be like, oh, do you guys need any help? Because we don't really assign volunteers for teardown, but teardown goes really fast because there's all the artists will help us. So I enjoy that teardown takes very quickly. Like it doesn't take very long. And I mentioned in previous streams, if you don't know, but this was kind of like a record year for setup for us. We got it all done on Tuesday before the con, and then on Wednesday it was just kind of little ancillary little things here and there, like, oh, this poster needs to be hung up and things like that. But for the layout of the hotel with all the classrooms and the TVs and the document cameras and all that stuff, it was like boom, lickety split, which is good. We're professionals at this point at setting up ReaperCon, so we'll see. I think that's where I'm going to wrap up to this morning. If there's any other information, I will try to give it to Ron for his interview at 11, if there's any crazy important information. But if you want to see the auction and how that's going to be ran, come back at 1 today. 2 o'clock, you were right, 2 o'clock. Come back at 2 for the auction. You should hear Chris Marquardt, if you don't know. He's a amateur auctioneer. I think that's the word. You'll hear the whole, can I get a 2, 250, 3, 350, 4, 4, and everybody's going to go hard on trying to get certain items that are in the auction. So that's it for me today, and that's probably the last that you'll see of me of the con. I hope you guys have a good rest of your Sunday. If you're not here this year, try to make it next year. I think next year is going to be kind of a big year. I think we're going to get up towards our our 2019 record attendance and things like that. So a lot of fun, exciting plans next year. So that'll be it for me. I'll see you guys next year. If not, I'll see you next week.